And now back to your regular programming.
If you speak better to yourself.
You showed up for like probably the dumbest conversation we've ever had on this show.
Let's have that smile again.
Tell me how that happens. Physically should not happen.
Relax.
If you say
Give me as well.
3 times a day, God will line it up.
He's just an absolute hack, and he gets his ass kicked by the teammates every week. It's just terrible.
Welcome back to Hack City. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson, 2 hacks with microphones. Today we've got lots to get to. I just thought about that.
I think that's I like that.
Real hack move by me. NFL Week 11, we've got a lot to get to. A lot of big games that are starting to shape this playoff picture for what we're going to see at the end of the season. MVP race seems like it's been figured out. We're going to talk about Matthew Stafford and then the fact that Josh Allen has rebounded and is coming for him for that title. Before we get into today's conversation, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you comment below your thoughts on Week 11. And a reminder that every single episode is presented to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. If you're going to be betting on the NFL or college football this season, make sure to go on over to FanDuel where you can catch all the latest odds and updates. Do all your betting action over there on FanDuel. Any lines that catch your eye, Sean?
Here's a little tasty one for later in the week. We're going to talk about one of these teams in a moment, and I think the real team showed up, and this line doesn't scare me at all. That's Buffalo favored by 5.5 versus Houston. Thursday night football in Houston. I think Buffalo's legit when they are actually playing a real team, so 5.5 don't scare me one bit.
Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation about Buffalo in a little bit. Let's start by talking about Bryce Young's incredibly historic performance. God, this was an electric one against the hapless, lifeless, really weak Atlanta Falcons. 30-27 win in overtime. And Bryce Young did a number of just ridiculously impressive things. This is Young's second career game with 3 touchdowns and no picks. And now it's his first win, which is even crazier to say. It's his first win when putting stats of that caliber up and when he's attempting over 35-plus passes. Previously, he had gone 0-12 in games of that caliber previously. In this performance, so this is what was really caught my attention, was the way that he handled pressure. He was 15 of 20 for 302 yards. He was pressured I misread that. Let me backtrack here. He was pressured 19 times. That is the second most that he's faced all season. He took 5 sacks, but he went 8 of 14 in those pressure situations, having 138 yards. That's really impressive that he was able to maintain that much of a rhythm on a team that's been very inconsistent in giving him time.
How about, first of all, a weekly humiliation ritual complete? Yeah. I feel like a jackass, but that's not the point. Bryce Young got banged up in this game. Left the game with a possible injury, didn't know if he was going to be coming back in, went cold, came back from half, second half, tears it up, and has another game-winning drive, game-tying drive, then overtime, guess what? Another game-winning drive. He's got the ice, he's kind of cold-blooded. He's cold-blooded in the NFL, and he doesn't make it look pretty. He doesn't make it look easy all the time either, but when he gets rolling and he gets into a game, man, he doesn't get phased. He looks calm and composed on the sidelines. That's all you can ask for. I mean, this Carolina Panthers team, walking into this season, nobody was giving them a shot. I wasn't giving them a shot, and I think it's fair to say everyone thought they would be coming in third in the NFC South, not a playoff team, wouldn't be in the hunt before Thanksgiving. Well, guess what? They swept a team in the NFC South that was expected to be in the hunt in the Atlanta Falcons, and they keep stacking quality wins. I guess this is a quarterback of the future for Carolina. It doesn't always feel that way, but
Don't
goodness,
say I guess.
the proof is starting to really form here in said pudding.
I think that the proof is there. I don't think that we should continue to have this conversation of is he the guy or is he not the guy? Is he inconsistent? Yes. It is the reality that you live in with a young quarterback when the rest of the roster is average to below average at most position groups. But I think what's impressive and what has been now proven is that when you add more weapons to the mix, it improves Bryce Young's play. It decreases the amount of bad dud performances that he puts out there. For every game that he has like this, he's going to have those games against the Saints where he just seems like he can't find a rhythm whatsoever. But he's got Ted McMillan in this game, who Teteroa McMillan. I forgot that we have to say the full thing. Teteroa McMillan was unreal in this, and he's had a really solid rookie year. If they can round out this offense, maybe go and grab an impactful tight end in the upcoming draft or through free agency, I think that there's a real world that next year they're putting up some pretty gaudy numbers. And it feels like Canales and him are starting to kind of figure each other out. It is never an instant, immediate jump to MVP conversations. It just doesn't happen. Drake May and Jaden Daniels and CJ Stroud, those are aberrations. Those are not things that are supposed to happen for young quarterbacks.
They've cooled off. Two of them have a little bit.
Well, Jaden cooled off because he got banged up. CJ Stroud also has gotten banged up. But Drake May is the one who has really complicated the narrative of, like, are we supposed to be patient or are we supposed to be frustrated when our guy is not immediately an MVP? Normally, it is going to take a little bit to round out a roster. You need everything to be perfect in order to produce those Drake May type ascensions. Bryce Young's getting there, and I think that there is really a lot of proof that he is the man that you need to build around, considering the struggles that they had to find that next guy after Cam Newton.
Here's another little quirk with Bryce Young that's going to be with him for his whole career. And compared to those three guys that you mentioned, they're all built like NFL quarterbacks. They're sized of NFL quarterbacks. Tall, strong, muscular, can take hits. Bryce Young, still small. Still doesn't look like he can take a hit.
I want him to be 280.
Still, that would be awesome.
280 Bryce Young. Just fat.
That is something that is going to
not even no muscle, just fat.
See, I tell you, he'd probably be able to take a hit if he had a little more cushion on him.
I don't think it was like a 280 pound. Who was that one? Who's that one fullback on the Panthers?
Tolbert?
Yeah,
Mike Tolbert.
I think it was Mike Tolbert. How big was Mike Tolbert?
He was big. Mike Tolbert was a load. I tell you what, he get in the end zone though. Bryce Young, he doesn't have other short quarterbacks doing him favors with Tua Tagovailoa saying he can't see over his line. Bryce Young still just looks small, but if he's a killer, he's a killer, and I don't care. And I'm going to officially state, if you want to keep on winning in this crazy fashion, comeback victories, doesn't matter what happens in the first three quarters, fourth quarter, I'm going to lock in. I can't ask for much more as somebody that's watching the sport, as long as you win the game. It's so hard to win a game in the NFL, and he is doing it. I will respect that, and I will, I guess, start a Bryce Young defense train. How is it that I love every team in the NFC South more than my own team? Love the Panthers, love the Buccaneers.
Boring.
They're so bad. They're so stupid.
Get a better team.
Trying. Oh, dude, I'm trying hard. And you can't even battle with people about Atlanta this year. Everyone just hates their lives. Everyone just sucks, and we all just suck together. That's the poor reality of the situation.
Buffalo Bills, Sean, unreal performance that they had against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was an important game without Keon Coleman, with the turmoil and drama happening there. We're going to ignore that. This offense for Buffalo was really, really potent. Josh Allen, this is the ridiculous stat coming out of this one. This is a big week for ridiculous stats. Josh Allen accounted for 6 total touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 3 through the air. This is now the second time in the Super Bowl era that a quarterback has passed for 3 touchdowns and rushed for 3 touchdowns. Do you know who the other quarterback is that has accomplished this stat?
NFL era, or Super Bowl era. Who would it? Maybe like a Steve McNair. He used to put up big numbers.
Josh Allen last year against the Rams.
Good
That game was really difficult to watch. I remember I bet on the Rams to cover in that game, and it did not come to fruition. But this is a ridiculous performance by Allen. Also a really solid game by #please Sean Tucker, who did not make a post about it, which was bullshit.
Oh, he had a small one. He didn't have the full recap. Happy with myself and the team. Wish I'd done this and that.
#please.
It was just a #pleased. But this was a great game. This Buffalo Bills team that showed up against Tampa Bay, this is the real team. All right, this is the real Josh Allen. That team that played Miami, that team that played Atlanta.
Oh no, he did post, "I'm pleased with my performance."
Yeah, very pleased.
A lot of people egged him into doing it. That makes me very happy.
He should be pleased. I love Sean Tucker. He had an awesome game. I hope he's one of the great football guys. If you know, you've been tracking him for so long.
Wait, but I don't mean to cut you off.
Please.
This was one prospect that when he came out, I was so adamant of he's going to be a really good RB2 in the NFL.
Yep.
And I felt like I actually got a lot of negative feedback from that when I had him high in my rankings. I think I had him as like RB10 in the year he came out. And a lot of people rolled their eyes at it. I don't even think he didn't get drafted, I believe, or it was very, very late. And look at what he's done for Tampa Bay. He's the perfect RB2 when Bucky Irving is unavailable.
He is such a high character guy, high football loving guy. Like just the way that he tweets about the game. You could tell like he's not tweeting like other players. He's tweeting about somebody that genuinely loves and cares about his performance in the football game. I love what he does in the sport. What was I saying? Oh, this Buffalo Bills team. This is the real team. These are the real guys. This isn't the team that lost to Miami or lost to Atlanta because those teams are dog shit and they don't need to play balls to the wall, risk everything for victory against those awful, awful teams. When you're playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are a playoff team from the NFC, who are likely going to win the NFC South, and the Buffalo Bills needed a win, Josh Allen steps up, scores 6 touchdowns. I'm doing it with my arm. I'm doing it with my legs. He wasn't running all around against these bad teams. He was just kind of sitting in the pocket, throwing it around, throwing it in the dirt, not taking a lot of risks. It's smart. It's brilliant, actually. The Bills' evolution is about 2 years behind the Chiefs in their operation, where the Chiefs used to just take games off and middle of the season, wait till the playoffs or play up to good teams. The Bills are doing that now, where they're saying we have a real window, we have a real chance with this quarterback, but we don't need you going out there doing something stupid in a game that doesn't really matter. This game mattered. He stepped up. And if they continue to do that, they're unstoppable. Like this is an unstoppable team if Josh Allen is playing at this level, and everybody in the AFC is on notice against them.
It does make me wonder what this team could be if they could actually go and get him a star receiver.
Should have got Waddle, man.
And
they should have got him Waddle.
Dude, trading within the division just doesn't happen.
I know. It's so
you
impossible.
always love suggesting these trades in the division. They don't happen unless it's like a defensive tackle that is a mid-level player that doesn't really really boost a team in your division. They might help them out.
For my defensive tackle argument for the future.
Well, I'm just saying that when you're trading away a star receiver, I don't think that many smart, competent franchises are going to equip a team that they're supposed to beat.
I got you. I know. I just watched what Waddle did in Madrid this weekend. I'm like, oh God,
I'm sorry for you for watching that.
Dude, I'm sorry for everyone that had to. Also,
these morning games. I have barely watched them. I've been doing my college football notes for Ruffino and Joe, and I've just kind of glanced up and looked up and gone, man, this is a shit game. They've all been bad games. I'm glad that a lot of people are kind of tapping into the conversation about how these games are really ruining the slate. And the games aren't even good, but we don't need to jump down that rabbit hole. My point is I think that the Bills, regardless of what happens at the end of this year, even if they do go to a Super Bowl, they got to go get this dude a star receiver, because if you could put up 44 points, imagine how much more productive you could be if you also had a premier target for him that he can rely on every single time he drops back. You would be a historic offense.
It would make everything easier. And I thought that Keon Coleman was going to be a player that made things easier just because he's pure athlete and can go and get jump balls and can make big plays when needed. I'm still waiting on it. I'm not ruling it out for him. I still think that there's a ton of potential with Keon Coleman, but they need some serious, like they need someone serious in the receiver room to come in and step in. Like, how did Devontae Adams end up in LA and not in Buffalo?
Point.
Like, honestly, and that guy's got 9 touchdowns this year,
which we're going to talk about him in a second. That would have been a perfect example.
They overthought it
of somebody
or
to go and get and to bring in that's always been consistent, that would be looking for somewhere where he can go to potentially win a Super Bowl. His play style and his leadership would have been perfect for the room, and specifically Keon Coleman.
Yep.
The reason why he didn't dress, it was because he was late for a walkthrough or something along those lines.
Yeah, just some nonsense. It's just nonsense. Like Abdul Carter shouldn't be going through that nonsense. Keon Coleman shouldn't be going through that nonsense.
That was an annoying saga today. That was really stupid.
You're supposed to be You're supposed to be the cornerstones here. We need you to act like it. Why is Abdul Carter laughing at guys saying that he should be wearing 50? Maybe they should give him 56.
Well, because the joke is that Lawrence Taylor never showed up for anything. The one with the tall tale, that everybody would reference was that there was one time he was driving past the stadium on a Sunday and he realized, oh my God, I have a game to play. And he just rolled up and ran out onto the field. That's a rumor. I don't know if that's real or not, but that's been the one. I always love listening to the Bill Burr clip of him talking about how he did that Inside the NFL show. He was like a guest on it. And he was talking to Phil Simms the whole time, and he was telling him all these stories, how Lawrence Taylor didn't know any of the franchises in the NFL. Like, he legitimately just didn't know who he was playing every single week. And he would just show up. He would just beat the shit out of whoever was there for him to beat the shit out of. The thing with Abdul Carter, though, yeah, he should not have hopped on Twitter. He should not have done that. There's a report of you dicking around.
Bad move, man.
It's
always a bad move.
When you start making excuses, and never, even if you're in the right and you were in recovery and you weren't sleeping in the building, it's automatically a very, very bad look. The thing that comes with this, though, I'm coming around a little bit on Mike Kafka. I know that we're kind of,
the Bills are great.
We're jumping in a completely different direction here. I do want to talk about this just for a couple of minutes. I'm turning around on the idea of Mike Kafka being the next head coach. I said this, and a lot of Giants fans commented on my video when I said this, saying, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Clearly, these people didn't pay close attention to the game. Against the Packers, they showed a ridiculous amount of fight. They didn't have Kayvon Thibodeau. They didn't have Jameis Winston. They were in the game until the final offensive series before the random slappy one that they had after they forced a punt. But like the final real series with 2 minutes to go, they march down the field. They're in a position. Jalen Hyatt stops running his route.
Oh, he took a beating.
He sucks. He
took a beating.
Jameis gets picked off, but they actually felt like they had more of an intent, and they felt like they were scrapping, not to mention the fact that Kafka had the balls to hold out Abdul Carter for the opening defensive series for something that he's been doing all year long that Daboll was letting him get away with. I feel like Kafka might actually end up winning against the Raiders, the Commanders, the Vikings, and the Cowboys. Go 4-3 and possibly end up getting this head coaching job. I wouldn't be shocked if it happened.
I tell you what, the head coaching market that's been floating around in the circles. I mean, you're looking at like Mike McCarthy as being one of the top options to hire outside of college guys.
Chris Shula is the big popular name for Giants fans.
If you get a guy in the house that you think you could win with this year, you might as well roll with him. There's no need to go jumping into this market to be first.
We'll see what happens.
Bloodbath.
Speaking of Chris Shula, this Rams defense was unbelievable against the Seattle Seahawks. It was coined game of the year and ended up being the opposite of what I think everyone thought. I think everyone thought high scoring, fireworks, big plays, ends up being super, super turnover filled as Sam Darnold struggled. He had 4 picks. This is the third time in his career that he has finished with no touchdowns and 4 interceptions. But on the other side of things, Matthew Stafford continues to stack his just unbelievable year that he has put together. 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He is the 6th player with 27 passing touchdowns and fewer than 5 picks through 10 games in a season. And the last 4 the last 5 players to have accomplished this went on to win MVP. The only other players who didn't win MVP was Mahomes in 2020. Aaron Rodgers, interestingly enough, is 3 of the players that have fit this description. The other thing that's also been really quite stellar for Stafford and showed up in this game is the way that he has handled pressure in this performance, or so far this season. He has 22 passing touchdowns against the blitz. That is 11 more than any quarterback this season. 11.
He's a wizard.
That is 5 more than any quarterback had last year. So he is stepping up to the challenge for a 37-year-old. He's playing like he's 25.
I mean, this reinforces the Twitter trope of we used to watch gods play, because Matthew Stafford was in his, I guess, technical prime of a quarterback and an athlete. Floating around the top 10, like there were 9 quarterbacks doing stuff like this that were better than him. And now, years later, he is older, savvy vet doing this on the weekly. It's impressive. I mean, this guy's longevity is impressive. What he's doing with the Rams is stellar. They're a legit Super Bowl team this year. Buy stock now. It's a pretty safe bet in the NFC. You watch how this team operates. They don't flinch. They don't make stupid mistakes. They play hard. How about, they make the right, every time that they have a draft pick, it feels like it just fits. Cameron Kinchins, the safety. He had a big pick in this game. Of course that worked. I saw how he played in Miami. I saw and then he goes to the Rams, gets developed properly, and now he's making impact plays. Not a super high draft pick either. They're just doing the right things in LA. The GM is great. Their development is great. Also, fun little storyline here, Joe. They're going to have a possibly top 5 draft pick next year that they got from Atlanta. The Rams could be a Super Bowl favorite this year, and they're going to have a top 10 draft pick next year. Buy stock. What a team. What a season. And the Davante Adams signing, so slept on. Such a good addition to that team. You lose Cooper Kupp, you get rid of him. That just ran its course in LA. They didn't say, oh, let's just let Tutu Atwell come in and take that position and we're going to have him develop into it. No, we're getting Davante Adams. That's what we're doing. We got Puka Nacua and we had Cooper Kupp, and when they were both great, the offense was unstoppable. We're not going to settle for a player that is inadequate for dominance. And they went out and got Davante Adams, and it has absolutely elevated the team. I love their operation. One of the most fun teams in football.
Well, 2 things you just said right there. One, I definitely believe that they really should be respected as the most likely team to win the Super Bowl. I really think that this team has figured out their identity on defense. I think that they have ridiculous explosiveness on offense. To have maneuvered what you just said, to go from an aging Cooper Kupp to a guy who also couldn't stay healthy, to Davante Adams, who is seemingly always available and always reliable, that was something that required risk, and a risk that is paying off. If Stafford is playing this well and he is mistake adverse, you are going to have what it takes to win a Super Bowl this season. I feel more threatened by them with the different ways that they've been able to win compared to the Colts, compared to the Eagles, which we're going to get to in a bit. They just do all of the things right in order to produce a Super Bowl, and they've won a Super Bowl, which is why it makes more sense, because they've had the experience of being there. They know what it takes. The other part with this, though, that's quite intriguing, as you just mentioned, they're having that top pick because the Falcons are so ass. They have the insanely ridiculous situation where they could potentially end up being able to draft their next quarterback with a top 10 pick, to be able to sit him for 2 to 3 years, and then to be able to have that next guy ready to go. Imagine if they could end up with Dante Moore. Imagine if they can end up with Fernando Mendoza or Ty Simpson, who just gets to hang out for a couple of years. This has never been possible, and they have one of the most unique circumstances. I really hope they don't overthink that and go, well, we want to gear up for one more run, and we got to go and get our guy. We got to go get the, Keldrick Falker. We got to go and get some big-time whatever it is. Take advantage of the extremely rare circumstance of having a soon-to-be 38-year-old quarterback. Draft one of these dudes who's raw and traitsy. Let him sit. Let McVay mold him, and then, watch the next version of this franchise turn into another elite one.
This is the second time today I've heard the quarterback option with that first pick. Now I'm sure they're going to lose somebody that they would like to replace with that depth, but I think you're right. The more that I've been mulling it over, I mulled it over on my cold walk home from the train today about what the Rams would do, and if you don't get the quarterback, then you're probably going to still have another awesome season, and you're going to be picking in the late 20s anyways. And then eventually the wheels are going to fall off, and you're going to be still a good team because you have a good coach and great bones that you're not – the Rams likely aren't going to be picking in the top 10 just by their own accord for a while. I think they're that good. So if you have this opportunity to go in and snatch a guy, that's got to be the play. It has to be. I mean, it's just a fundamentally sound decision to make for the future of your NFL team, is to say, hey, we got lucky here. We got absolutely effing lucky, and we got to get a guy that we think, that's going to be so intriguing. Oh yeah. And are any of these guys in this class, Joe, you think like day one, right as they're rookies, they should be out there starting, or are they all just going to be, we want them to bake a little bit for a year?
Wait, you're saying with the quarterbacks?
The quarterbacks specifically.
I think that Mendoza could start right away. I think that Ty Simpson could start right away. I think that Dante Moore, there's an inkling of a belief that maybe he goes back to school because he's on the younger-ish side. I don't think it would hurt him to sit a little bit because he's been a little bit up and down. The one wild card with this, Lenora Sellers has been kind of considered a faller in the class, and he's somebody who could also go back to school, could end up transferring to somewhere big and with a coach that knows how to work with quarterbacks and, be in the college football playoff mix. But that would, to me, would be the really intriguing one for the Rams, because you just take the shot on the elite athlete that you don't have to put out there. It's kind of Packers-esque with Jordan Love. Jordan Love was awful for the first 3 years that he was in the NFL. We saw it when he stepped on in the field. He was terrible, and now he's doing crazy shit every single time he drops back.
Man, yeah.
Taking the risk on traits, but being able to be patient with that does give the Rams a little bit of a unique spot where, ultimately what they could do would be really crazy is they could trade back. They could draft a quarterback like Sellers, who's all traits and all flash, and then develop him and then have multiple picks accrued because somebody else wanted to trade up and go and get one of these guys that's a little bit more ready to go.
I just worry about them getting a trait guy because the most success they've had with a quarterback in the modern era has been Matthew Stafford. Old Matthew Stafford,
but he's a trait guy.
He's an arm guy. He's strictly an arm guy.
Yeah,
Sellers
but hold on.
is an escape artist.
Wait. But Stafford has been deemed and considered to be one of the most rare quarterback prospects that's ever come out. He had a big arm. But he's got a cannon.
What's Sellers' best attribute is what? His escapability from pressure and extending
but he's also got a gigantic cannon arm. I think that there would be an easy translation to there would be a potential elevation to the offense with adding a gigantic arm with escapability and power and speed and all that.
I'm going to let you know something right now because I'm not just my philosophy. I'm about done with escapability. I'm about done glazing a guy that gets out of a sack. I want to see a guy that has 3 seconds and makes the right call every time. That's what I want to see from a quarterback.
That's a bad take.
That you think it is?
Yeah.
Why?
Offensive lines are bad these days. I want somebody who can evade pressure.
The MVP this year is a 37-year-old that can barely evade pressure in Matthew Stafford.
But he has good pocket awareness.
Yeah. Give me somebody that has good pocket awareness. Not somebody that just slips away.
All right,
I'm sorry.
We got two other games that we got to get to here. I'm not going to get into a shouting match with you over that. Chiefs are now in a really compromising position as they fell to the Denver Broncos 22-19. They still have a couple of challenging matchups coming up, but there is redeemability for them to get back on track. They are 0-5 in one-score games this year. They were 11-0 in such situations last season, which shows the volatility of trying to survive by the skin of your teeth. This is one of the things that was very interesting. We talked about this when they lost to the Bills, that they have had issues with protecting Mahomes when he's aggressively blitzed. The Broncos blitzed Mahomes 14 times, which generated 7 pressures and produced 3 sacks. They ramped that pressure up in the second half, which ultimately helped create a really difficult spot for Mahomes, and he did not end up playing very well in the second half. So this is becoming a bit of a worrying spot for this team where I wouldn't say they're getting out coached, but they're not effectively adjusting, it seems like.
Yeah, they need to be better. And unfortunately, they ran into a defensive buzzsaw that Denver has right now. Nick Bonito might be the fastest player in the NFL, genuinely, coming out of a 3-point stance or even a low 2-point. Jonathan Cooper is a freak. The Denver defense is absolutely filled with studs, and they kind of just bossed up and mogged on the Kansas City Chiefs here. I'm not worried about the Chiefs. I'm also seeing, are you seeing these takes where it's we're never going to see that Mahomes guy from 18 to 22 again? That's so tired, and it's so lame. You guys suck if you think that this is a Mahomes issue.
Why are we doing this? We did this with Brady.
Dude.
Why would we? I hate when people do this. Can we just watch the damn sport? Can we just watch the game and stop doing that guy's gone and the version of him that we saw before, he's gone?
It's exhausting. It really is exhausting.
He'll get to the playoffs and then he'll go on a run. They will finish one game above 500. They will go to the playoffs and they will beat everybody. What are we doing here?
These idiot mouth breathers don't look at schedules and don't want to either, because Kansas City still gets to play. Listen to this. A grueling final stretch for them. The Colts, they can beat the Colts. Cowboys, they murk them. The Texans are falling apart. They beat them. Chargers, they don't have an offensive lineman. They beat the Chargers. Titans, they beat the Titans.
That's 4 wins.
The Broncos, okay, close game.
All right, so 4-1. No, they're not going to split. They're going to split with them. They're going to get swept. This is 5 wins.
And then the Raiders,
6 wins.
So okay, so now we're looking at the Chiefs, who are literally getting hot against the underbelly of the NFL right before the playoffs. I'm sure you dolts. This team is going to rip your hearts out in the playoffs.
Sounds like you're going to say dick off.
No, they will rip your dick off. They'll rip your dick off and twist it. That's what they'll do. All right. They will just savage you in every way when it starts to matter. This Kansas City Chiefs team, they're talking about Andy Reid's lost his touch. All he's doing is calling screens and stuff. Shut up. It's the Chiefs. Like, why are we putting an energy around them that we want them to be back and want them to be putting up 40 a game? I guess you guys loved it. You guys talked about how much you hated it, how much you hated the Chiefs and the publicity you got. Now when they're 5-5, you're disappointed with them? Boo to you. They're going to be fine. They got Simmons back protecting Mahomes. That's a huge upgrade for them. And honestly, it's the run game that stunts them. Kareem Hunt doesn't have the burst to make a difference outside of the red zone. And then Isaiah Pacheco is kind of running like a madman this year, not in a good way. So it's a one-dimensional offense, and they're going to have to find a way to get 80 yards, and then we can start running the ball. That's all it is. How do we eat up yardage before we can start running effectively with our bruiser? Because all they have is bruisers. They should have made a play for the running back at the deadline. They didn't. And now
that was the dumbest thing that they didn't go and get somebody to add to the run game. That didn't make any sense to me.
That was foolish. So now they're left picking up some of the pieces, but it's not like they're going to be facing the stiffest competition down the stretch.
Yeah.
I would take Kansas City in a bet against every team that they play for the rest of the season. I won't because I guess that would mean they would lose. I am eating my balls in betting. Eating them.
Why are you eating your balls? Oh, did you tail me on that pick?
I just can't get one.
I'm afraid to check how I did this weekend. I
It's
kind of
rough,
just throw
man.
picks in on FanDuel, and I kind of just don't look. I usually look on Thursday. That's when I go back and I look again.
It's like
I'm like, oh, I have $3.
It's like having a big.
Where did it all go?
It's like a big Friday night out. You're not looking at that Amex statement until maybe
No.
next Tuesday. Oh no!
You're like, oh, I know what's coming, but because the longer you wait, sometimes it gets smaller. Sometimes you open it, you're like, oh, I didn't spend $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh, it was only $998.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that is.
So in this situation, it's like, oh, I have $4 to bet with. I can place 4 bets. We're gonna bounce back. Of course, I'm going and doing that over at FanDuel.
That's right. Yeah.
I wish I bet on the Eagles to win against the Lions, 16-9 on Sunday Night Football. I don't know how to describe what they've done over the past couple of weeks. I really don't. They are one of the most, despite starting the season really slowly, they're one of the most defensively dominant teams that I have witnessed in primetime games. They are just unbelievable. Front to back. Their front seven, their secondary, they're impenetrable. And when they do give up big plays like they did to Jahmyr Gibbs in this game, they just lock down as soon as teams cross.
They didn't break
midfield.
They didn't break.
And here's the craziest part. You got last Monday, we got the nut off, the who's got the bigger nuts battle between these teams that kept going for it on 4th down. And lo and behold, the Lions decided to say, watch this shit. And went for it 5 times and went 0 for 5, which was the craziest thing. By the way, there's this whole narrative that's been brought up with Jared Goff's inability to throw in the cold.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why everyone's getting so bent out of shape over this.
You look bad. I got a little bent out of shape about it.
He's from California, and he started his career in LA, and he plays in a dome. I don't know what you guys expected here.
I know. It just looks bad every time, and I think it could be a problem in the playoffs. Also, are we calling it a nut off? Is that what we're calling it?
Is
that what we're doing?
Do something about it.
Doesn't feel right calling it a nut off. The Lions, 0 for 5 on 4th down, lost them that game. It simply did. And not because they should have kicked the field goal, which I like take the points. I'm a team takes the points guy. Hashtag take the points. But them not being able to get a play down on 4th down, where that's been their bread and butter of kind of just destroying teams. That was an old school. I think the Dan Campbell analysis of why he goes on it on 4th down is completely backwards, because all the analytics nerds are like, go for it on 4th because it'll extend and you get more points and better shot at 6. Dan Campbell, I think, is doing it from the perspective of,
I'm coming for your neck.
I'm coming for your neck, and it will break you on defense if we convert 4th downs. It will absolutely break it. He's right, by the way. If you're on defense and it's a 4th down, you had a great stop, and then they convert, you're decimated. and that's why he does it. And the Lions that arrow was not in their quiver going 0 for 5 on 4th down. That lost them the game, is that they just couldn't get it done on that play. Because I thought Gibbs was going to get in. I thought they were going to start really rolling in the second half. They didn't. The Eagles are a tough bastard. Well, you got to play them right now. And I'll say this, they're hurting our nation. They are hurting us with these primetime games and their boring play of football.
Well, they're winning, and they've got a good record. I think it's better than having to watch the slop that's on Monday night, which is Raiders versus Cowboys.
Oh, this game tonight's going to be electric. Brock Bowers is going to go for 50 points.
What are you talking about? I'm going to watch Ashton Genty run into the backs of his offensive line.
He does that a lot.
I'm going to watch Geno Smith throw one of the most inexplicable interceptions, and then I'm going to watch Dak still lose. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to find a way to lose this game. Here's one thing, though, that I got to bring up here with the Eagles, though. As boring as they are, they have some of the best players in the NFL at every given position. They've got Jalen Carter at defensive tackle, top 5 defensive tackle. You got Zach Bond and now Jahad Campbell, who's emerging.
Jalen Phillips. So they just added him. He had like 8 pressures on Sunday Night Football.
Which is not, and he was stellar on Monday Night Football as well. But Quinyon Mitchell, I don't think gets enough recognition. In this game, he did not allow a reception on his 6 targets. That is tied for the most targets without allowing a reception in a game over the last 2 seasons. He has now had 39 coverage snaps, which is tied for the 3rd most snaps by an outside corner in a game this season. And this was also Mitchell's 3rd game this year where he did not allow a reception. He is allowing just a 41.9% completion percentage. That is the lowest by any player with 50-plus targets in a season since 2018. So he has been beyond lockdown. He was one of those dudes when he was coming out of Toledo. You just knew he was going to be special.
He's just so sticky, man. He is sticky. He is on a receiver the whole time. And he just plays with like an ultra focus, it feels like. And it's all you could ask for from a cornerback. Mitchell has been a stud. While we're on the Eagles note, I'm going to do something rare. I'm going to give you some credit here, pal. I haven't done this in a while.
I don't really remember saying this. I say a lot of shit.
I got to give you some props. I think we were talking about Offensive Player of the Year possibilities or looking at the lines for it.
I think that might have been it.
I like the possibility of Saquon having another great year. You notably called the unlikeliness of back-to-back dominant seasons for him. Something with Saquon's off this year. I think it's a little hammy sensitivity. He's been working through that this season. You're right. I'll give it to you. He has not been the bell cow. We're running the offense through Saquon Barkley back that we saw last year that elevated the Eagles. It has been a bit of a diminished season for him. Something that I've noticed. I hate doing this. Credit to you for calling that one.
Well, I think the biggest part, and you saw it in the Lions game, nobody feels threatened by Jalen Hurts. And this is the thing that nobody wants to say, and it's suddenly so controversial to say it. Nobody feels threatened by Jalen Hurts. They don't. Jalen Hurts has seemingly – he was always pretty like slightly above average, and he feels like he's regressed. He doesn't know how to set up his teammates to succeed. And then he's got this bubbling – he's creating drama because he can't find A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
It's turned into this really weird, toxic situation.
I don't know why they can't throw a slant to A.J. Brown. I mean, it feels like every ball that they're throwing to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith is like the most covered up jump ball on the sidelines. And if it's not bouncing off their hands or it's a PBU, it's sailing over their heads by about 4 to 5 yards. Like, there's got to be better routes for these guys. I know that A.J. Brown is like a receiver that you would build in a lab that can jump over everybody and strong arm them. Let me get some deep crosses. Let me get a drag route with Devonta Smith. Let me get anything that isn't just 20 yards down the field. Let's throw it up to our big guy. Like that is not good work from the Eagles. And it feels like Jalen Hurts is always making that decision, or he's just throwing down to his check down. It's not the consistent attack vertically in chunks, work the middle of the field. That it should be. And I it's so hard to be critical of him because he wins games and he doesn't hurt the team. Like that's one thing I'm going to say. He's not hurting the team by being their quarterback, but he's not exuding the dominance that you would hope that he would as a Super Bowl winning quarterback, as a guy with all this talent around him, a top 10 tight end, 2 top 20 wide receivers, 2 possible top 15 wide receivers, actually, and a stellar running back, a great offensive line. Like, this is the car that just about anybody in the league could drive, and we're looking at him, and he's not driving it that well. You would hope
driving it like an old man.
Yeah, he's driving like an old man.
We're going 55 in the 65. It's a little like, hey man, you can go a little faster than that.
This car wants to eat up the left lane.
Yeah.
It wants to eat up the left lane and swerve and go and to drive like me in the Altima this weekend. I love driving my Nissan Altima this weekend. Oh, I almost blew the speakers out of that thing.
I
needed to. Oh, it was so fun. But that's how he needs to be driving, not passively in the middle lane, which is what it feels like.
All right, everybody, we're going to be back at Joe DeLeone, at Sanderson Radio, at Hack City Pod. We'll talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of your week.